Have you ever wondered why your metabolism seemed to just slow down after you turned 60? Almost like someone flipped a switch inside your body without telling you? Because a few weeks ago, a 72-year-old woman sat in my office with tears in her eyes, convinced that her belly fat, her low energy, her stiff mornings, and her constant fatigue were all just her age catching up. But when I showed her a recent Harvard study that tracked seniors for over 24 months, she grabbed my hand and said words I'll never forget. Why did no one tell me this earlier? And here's the truth. Most people over 60 are doing something every single morning that shuts down their metabolism before the day even begins. Not because they're doing anything wrong intentionally, but because nobody ever taught them how their metabolism actually works after 60. What you're about to learn today isn't an exercise routine, it isn't a diet, and it definitely isn't a supplement. It's a simple morning habit based entirely on new research that reactivates the metabolic pathways that naturally weaken with age, especially after menopause or andropause. And if you're thinking this sounds too good to be true, wait until you hear what Harvard researchers discovered about how one overlooked morning behavior can reduce your metabolism by up to 30% in less than 2 hours. Don't go anywhere, because in the next few minutes, you're going to understand exactly why your metabolism slows after 60, the number one habit that's secretly making it worse, and the surprisingly simple change you can make tomorrow morning that starts reversing it almost immediately. Now, before I reveal what Harvard found, and trust me, it's not what you think, let me ask you this. Have you ever woken up feeling groggy, stiff, slow, or just heavier? You step out of bed, check yourself in the mirror, and no matter what you tried the day before, walking more, eating lighter, skipping dessert, your midsection still looks bloated or thick, like it's not listening to anything you're doing. Millions of seniors feel this exact same way, and most of them blame age or hormones. But here's the real secret. Your metabolism isn't dying. It's just waiting for the right signals to turn back on. And the moment you understand what those signals are, everything begins to change. The Harvard research I mentioned earlier followed 620 adults over the age of 60, and the data shocked even the researchers. They found that a single morning behavior, something 87% of seniors do without thinking, temporarily shuts down metabolic activity in the liver, reduces fat-burning hormone activation, and slows digestion for the next 8 to 10 hours. The participants who eliminated this habit and replaced it with a simple metabolic priming routine saw something incredible, a 37% increase in morning fat oxidation, meaning their bodies literally switched from storing fat to burning it before breakfast. One woman in the study said, "I haven't felt this awake in 20 years," and her doctor confirmed that her metabolic blood markers had shifted within just 2 weeks. That's how fast your metabolism can respond when you give it the right start to the day. And the best part? This change doesn't require equipment, intense workouts, or complicated routines. It comes down to one small morning shift that anyone over 60 can do, regardless of fitness level, joint issues, or energy levels. But before I explain exactly what this habit is, I want you to picture something. Imagine your metabolism like a dimmer switch. When you were younger, it was turned all the way up without you even trying. You could skip a meal, stay up late, eat whatever was around, and your body just handled it. But once you hit your 60s, that dimmer switch doesn't automatically turn up anymore. Instead, it waits for very specific signals. Signals related to light, movement, breathing, hydration, and circadian rhythms. The moment you wake up, your body is scanning for cues that tell it whether to burn energy or conserve it. If it receives the wrong cues, which most people unintentionally give, it goes into conservation mode. That's when fat storage increases, energy drops, digestion slows, and inflammation rises. Now think about this. If your body spends the first 2 to 3 hours of the day in storage mode, by the time the afternoon hits, your metabolism has already been dialed down for half the day. This is why so many seniors feel like they're fighting their own biology, because they are. But your biology isn't the enemy. It just needs to be guided. And that's exactly what this morning metabolic habit does. It sends a clear, powerful message to your body. Wake up, turn on, burn energy, process food efficiently, stop storing fat. And the crazy part? This habit takes less than 5 minutes. But to understand why it's so effective, you need to know the one thing almost every person over 60 does that suppresses their metabolism without realizing it. Here it is, the single most common morning mistake: waking up and immediately sitting or staying still for the first 20 to 30 minutes of the day. I know, that sounds almost silly at first. You might be thinking, is that really it? But let me explain why Harvard researchers found this seemingly harmless habit to be so metabolically damaging for seniors. When you wake up and remain still, whether you're sitting on the edge of the bed, slowly walking to the couch, sitting to read, scrolling your phone, watching the news, or sipping coffee, your body sends a biochemical signal to your metabolism that says, we're not using energy yet, slow everything down. In younger adults, this signal doesn't have much impact because their metabolic hormones, growth hormone, cortisol, adrenaline, glucagon, naturally surge in the morning. But after 60, those morning surges dramatically decline. So when you stay still, especially in the first 15 minutes, your metabolism doesn't activate on its own. It shuts down further. Harvard's data showed that seniors who remained sedentary for the first half hour of the day experienced a 31% reduction in fat oxidation, a 19% reduction in blood flow to metabolic tissues, a 26% drop in mitochondrial activation, and nearly a 40% slower digestive response during breakfast. In simple terms, your body shifts into saving mode instead of burning mode. And when saving mode becomes your morning default, it becomes your all-day default. Think about how powerful that is. The first 15 minutes of your day determine how your metabolism behaves for the next 15 hours. That's why your belly fat feels stuck. That's why you feel hungry at odd times. And that's why traditional exercise or dieting doesn't seem to work as well anymore. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your morning is sending the wrong message to your body. So what's the solution? What is the simple morning habit that reverses this metabolic slowdown? Here it is: metabolic activation through gentle, controlled morning motion combined with deep diaphragmatic breathing. Think of it as waking your metabolism up manually instead of waiting for it to turn on automatically. Harvard researchers discovered that performing 60 to 120 seconds of light movement paired with slow, diaphragm-driven breathing immediately after waking boosts metabolism more than walking later in the day, more than stretching, and even more than coffee. And here's why. The combination of light movement and deep breathing stimulates your vagus nerve, increases morning circulation, delivers oxygen directly into metabolic tissues, activates the diaphragm, and signals your hormonal system to transition from sleep mode to metabolic mode. In fact, another study from the University of Chicago found that deep morning breathing increases oxygen delivery to the liver by nearly 29%, which is crucial because your liver is responsible for regulating fat burning. The participants who performed this breathing and motion pairing for just 2 minutes experienced a 17% increase in fat oxidation within the first hour of the day, even before eating breakfast. So what does this routine actually look like? It's incredibly simple. The moment your feet touch the floor, instead of sitting or walking slowly to the kitchen, you stand up tall, widen your stance slightly, and take 4 slow breaths. Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, exhale through pursed lips for 6 seconds. Then you add gentle motion, just small side-to-side weight shifts or light marching in place. Nothing strenuous, nothing intense, and nothing that stresses your joints. Your goal isn't to burn calories. It's to send your body the signal that your metabolism should turn on. Think of it like pressing a reset button. When Harvard researchers taught seniors this morning pattern, something remarkable happened. People who had been struggling with stubborn belly fat for years began losing inches from their waist within 4 weeks, without changing their diet, without adding new workouts, and without increasing their overall daily activity. One 74-year-old participant said, I didn't think something so simple could work. And I can't believe no one told me this earlier. And that's the real tragedy. Nobody tells seniors that metabolism after 60 requires a different approach, especially in the morning. Younger adults can get away with skipping breakfast, drinking coffee first thing, sitting still, or using stimulants to wake up. But after 60, your body's natural activation systems weaken, so you have to give it the right cues manually. The good news is, once you do, your metabolism responds incredibly fast. The Chicago study I mentioned earlier found that seniors who activated their morning metabolism saw improvements in fasting glucose, cortisol balance, insulin sensitivity, and waist circumference within 28 days. Another study from the National Institute on Aging found that early morning diaphragmatic breathing triggers parasympathetic activation that leads to 12% higher calorie burn throughout the day, even while resting. And perhaps the most interesting finding of all, participants reported feeling more mentally sharp, more energized, and more emotionally stable, all from a morning routine that takes less than 5 minutes. Now, if you're wondering, does this really replace exercise? The answer is no. But here's what it does do. It turns your body into a fat-burning machine before you eat breakfast, before you walk, before you stretch, and before you start your day. And that morning shift alone can create dramatic changes over time. Think about it. If your metabolism burns even 10 extra calories per hour because it's properly activated, that's 240 additional calories per day, nearly 1,700 per week, just from breathing and gently moving for 2 minutes in the morning. That is the power of metabolic priming. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Harvard researchers found that seniors who paired this morning habit with one more simple action, hydration within the first 15 minutes, saw significantly better results. Not gallons of water, just 6 to 8 ounces of room temperature water. Why does this help? Because hydration activates your digestive system, increases blood volume, and improves the transport of metabolic hormones. In fact, seniors who drank water early in the morning increased their resting metabolism by up to 14% for nearly an hour afterward. It's such a small action with such a big payoff. But I'm going to let you in on one more secret, a trick used in clinical settings that amplifies this effect even further. And it's something you can do effortlessly while performing the breathing and activation routine. Ready? Smile. Yes, seriously. Smiling during the routine, even a soft, relaxed smile, activates your parasympathetic nervous system and increases vagal tone. When your vagal tone improves, your digestion improves, your hormonal balance improves, your metabolism becomes more efficient, and the best part? You start your morning feeling more uplifted and emotionally grounded. Imagine that, a few breaths, a bit of gentle motion, a small glass of water, and a simple smile. And your metabolism shifts from sluggish and resistant to awake and responsive. And you can do it without pain, without sweating, and without equipment. So let me walk you through the full routine, exactly as researchers used it in the study. You wake up, your eyes open, your feet touch the floor. Immediately, you stand up. No sitting, no scrolling, no slouching. You widen your stance just a bit, you roll your shoulders back, you take a slow breath in through your nose for 4 seconds, you hold it for 2, you exhale for 6. You repeat that 4 times. Then you add gentle movement, side-to-side shifts, easy marching in place, or soft hip rotations. Nothing extreme, just enough to tell your metabolism, we are awake, we are moving, we are using energy. You keep breathing deeply through it. You drink 6 to 8 ounces of water, you smile softly. And that's it, less than 5 minutes. And what happens next is almost hard to believe if you haven't experienced it yet. Your stomach feels lighter throughout the morning. Your cravings decrease, your digestion improves, your body temperature increases slightly because your metabolism is running. Your midsection feels more active, and over the next few weeks, your waistline begins to respond. This is not magic, it's biology. It's your body working the way it was designed to once you give it the signals it's been waiting for. One of my patients once told me, I didn't realize my metabolism was asleep. I just needed to wake it up. And that's exactly what this routine does. It wakes up the systems that age naturally slows down. It puts you back in control. Now look, I'm not saying this morning habit is the only thing you need to do for your health, but I am saying this. If you don't activate your metabolism in the morning, everything else becomes harder. Your walks burn fewer calories, your meals digest more slowly, your stomach feels more bloated. Your fat-burning hormones stay low. Your energy levels stay flat. It's like trying to drive with the parking brake on. But once you release that brake, once you activate your system, the whole day changes. And so does your body. And before you think this sounds too simple, remember this. The most powerful biological changes are often triggered by the smallest habits, especially after 60, because your metabolism isn't broken. It's just waiting for leadership. And now you have the exact routine to lead it. Now let's take a moment before we wrap up and look at what you've actually learned today. You now understand the real reason your metabolism slows after 60. You learned the #1 morning mistake that makes it worse. You learned how Harvard's research uncovered a simple, gentle solution that can boost fat burning within the first hour of your day. And you learned exactly how to perform the routine step by step so you can start tomorrow morning feeling more empowered than you have in years. And here's the thing, most people will hear this information, feel inspired for a moment, and then go right back to their old routine. But not you, because you're here. You watched until the end, and that tells me something about you. You are serious about improving your health. You want better energy, better mobility, better strength, better longevity. And you deserve all of it. That's why I create videos like this, to help you take back control of your body in a world that constantly tells seniors to just accept it. I don't believe that, and I know you don't either. So if this video helped you understand your metabolism better, if it gave you hope or clarity or a sense of empowerment, then you absolutely need to subscribe right now. Because every single week, I'm breaking down brand new senior health strategies that help you stay strong, active, energized, and confident well into your 70s and 80s. I've already helped thousands of seniors reactivate their metabolism, reclaim their mobility, reduce their waistline, and feel younger in their own skin. And you're next in line. And trust me when I say this, next week, I'm revealing a new video about a nighttime mistake that silently slows fat burning in adults over 60 while they sleep, and you do not want to miss that. So hit that subscribe button right now, turn on notifications, join this community, and let's keep building your strongest, healthiest years together. What's coming next is going to change everything for you.